Welcome everybody to the September DAS InReach, the Astronomical League and you. My name is Dena McClung and I'm the Astronomical League coordinator for the Denver Astronomical Society. The Astronomical League is the world's largest federation of astronomy clubs composed of over 300 local amateur astronomical societies. The Denver Astronomical Society is the largest club. We have, on the last roster that I turned in last week, 1,068 individual memberships. And when we broke 1,000, they told us that we were the first club to break 1,000. So they were pretty happy about that. As a member of the DAS, you are automatically a member of the Astronomical League. Every quarter, I pull a new roster from the member portal and send it to the Astronomical League so they can update their records. And the DAS pays our dues for the Astronomical League based on those rosters. So when anyone joins the DAS, I approve their membership. No matter where you are in your journey to explore the universe, the Astronomical League has lots of tools to help you find your way. The amount of free information that is available from the Astronomical League is amazing. And if you need more in-depth information, there are items that you can purchase from them. I'm going to go through this thing one thing at a time and make this a slideshow available to whoever wishes to have it. There's a sign-up sheet on the table. If you put your email address down, I'll send it to you. First, however, I want to acknowledge all of the people who work hard at the Astronomical League, and I'm going to shorthand that to AL. When I say AL, that's what I'm talking about, who put together all of this information. For what we pay as a club in dues to this organization, it's well worth it. These people are dedicated to producing high quality information, creating thorough observing programs, and putting on the Astronomical League conference annually. That's called the ALCON. There's a large number of ways to access the information that has been accumulated and provided for your use by the AL. I want to give you all the possible avenues to locate and use what you need. So let's dive into the details. This is the homepage for the AL website. Every slide that I use has a website that will have a link up at the top. If you want to use your camera to take a picture of it, that's fine, with your phone. From here, you can navigate to all the various parts of the website to find what you need. But I've gone in depth to show you some of the nuggets that you want if you want to get the most out of the website. The terms of common usage page is far more extensive than this sample. It goes way, way, way down. All of their pages do. And as you explore other parts of the website, you might need to refer to this page to understand what is meant. I looked at some of these things and I went, oh, I wouldn't have known what that meant. So it's a very handy page. This page has a wealth of information for the beginning astronomer and even for someone who has been observing for a while but may have missed some details. I know when I looked through this, I had a few aha moments myself. And I printed some copies of these 8 pages of information. That's that pile over there, plus the sky map from this next slide. So this page here, Navigating the Night Sky Guides, they're working on this page and they have some of it under construction, but they have these big black boxes. This is just one of them, the most recent for September 24. So this is the file. I got the PDF file for the night sky. That's the last page in the handout. But every month you should be able to go in there. Pretty soon the October one should be available. And you should be able to go get it in whatever format you want and use that for your planning purposes for whatever you're going to observe. This next page is a wealth of free information on a variety of topics that goes in depth to expand your overall knowledge. I mean, I could spend a lot of time going through all of this, but you can do this on your own. There are tons of information in here that are fascinating. Or you can just look for information on a specific topic, but lots of stuff in there I would never have known about. Okay, at this point, I'm going to stop and explain one of the terms that we use, observing. Observing isn't simply finding an object and saying, I found it. Observing is looking at an object and noticing the qualities of that object. What is the shape? What is the color? Does it change over time? Does it have features? You know, some of the planets have features. The moon certainly has features. And it's looking at the features and getting a grasp for what they are. That's what observing really is all about. It's not just finding the object, it's observing the object. And some objects do change over time, and that's part of the observing. So the manuals that are listed on this page are available in the Astronomical League store. And they're very helpful if you're going to do an observing program. So I recommend if you decide to do one, that you consider getting a manual for it. This next one is free, but it's 464 pages. So you're going to need to fill up on paper and ink and toner if you're going to print this one out and read it. But it is written by the guy who is now the Astronomical League secretary. And he did an amazing job on this. So if you're willing to do a really deep dive into this, I would highly recommend it. I want to get it. I don't read well on the computer, so I'm going to have to fill up on toner myself. Yeah, Bill.
I believe Aaron Clevenson is also one of the directors of the Observing Awards program.
Yes, yes, he is. Yes. Okay. So here is another page with a lot of great information for amateur astronomers. These are information that you can print out and hand out to people. They don't want you to charge anything for it, but it's very useful information too. So I recommend that you go in and explore these astronotes. Okay, so the Astronomical League's observing programs are the hallmark effort of the organization. There is a vast range of programs. You can observe anything from the moon to the stars. You can do radio observing. Anything you can think of that has to do with astronomy, just about you can explore if you have the equipment. And you don't have to have fancy equipment. Some of the observing can be done naked eye. So it is really made for anyone to do whatever they can with whatever they have. Thousands of people have completed the observing programs devised by the program committee and have become expert observers in the process. There are many good reasons for using an observing program to learn how to observe. You can provide you with the guidance and the concept of using a system. I mean, the sky is not organized. You go out there and you look and there's stuff all over the place and you can go, wow, I don't even know where to start. Well, if you use an observing program, it will help you know where to start. It will teach you good observing techniques and practices because this doesn't come naturally. A lot of people ask each other for advice. But if you're using their program, you'll learn how to do it. You'll have goals, and it's good to have goals because if you have a goal, you're less likely to give up. And then most of the programs will reward you with a certificate or a pin. And Bill brought some of those. He'll show you those later. And then as you go, you'll gain confidence for doing more of the programs in the future. This table is a great tool for figuring out what program you want to start with. And this table is actually 3 pages long. Obviously, I couldn't put the whole thing up here. But over here You have the difficulty on this side and these three columns from beginner, intermediate, advanced. And here it talks about the equipment you need, starting with the unaided eye, going to binocular, telescope, and special equipment, and your particular needs. Some of this is in the Southern Hemisphere. Some of this is about building equipment. Some of this is about the maximum age allowed. A lot of that doesn't apply to most of the programs. And then there is the style. So you can look at this table and go, okay, this will fit what I want to do. And that is where you should start when you're looking for a program. Next, once you've decided on the program, go to the page where they're listed alphabetically and find that program. And then once you have found it, you can click on the link in yellow that you want to go to. And that will take you to a page where all of the information you need to actually do that program will be listed. Everything I have at the top of the page is all of the things you'll find on those pages. And then this is just a clip, just a small part of a page from the Lunar Observing Program to show what part of the page is. Once again, there's no way I could fit an entire page on a slide. But at any rate, you'll find everything you need to know in order to do that there. Who the coordinator is, what the requirements are, what equipment is permitted. For example, in a lot of cases, you can't use a go-to scope. You have to find objects on your own. Links to the files that you need, like that file I showed you earlier. The levels of the program, they have basic up to advanced for a lot of these programs, the requirements, the rules. And one of the best parts is how to find your observing award, which is something we'll talk about more later. So,
Can I ask a question?
yes. I'll go back.
On the, for the manual, if you have I have an E26 map, but I don't hardly ever, well, so to date, I've never powered it up. I strictly use it as a manual map.
Yeah,
Is that just that they take my word for it?
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you're finding the stars on your own without the assistance of an electronic system, then you're using it manually.
Yeah, like use a star chart and do star hopping. That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's-
Yes.
I don't have any go-to stuff, so I don't even have setting circles on my scope, so I do star hopping exclusively.
Yeah.
Working off of charts and atlases.
Okay, so this page is a sample observing checklist. It's from the lunar program, which is the easiest one to start with. You can see that there are many objects that they want you to find with various things, like the first two sections are naked eye objects, and then there are binocular objects, and below that would be telescope objects. And there are different times when they're going to want you to look at them, especially because with the moon, as it goes through the phases, different parts of the moon are better to view. So this isn't something you're going to knock out in a couple of minutes. You're going to need some time to do these observing programs, but that's part of the learning process, is that you're going to have to be able to be patient and go out there because the weather isn't always going to be good. You know, you're going to be out there for quite a few nights on most of these programs, doing what you need to do to gather all the information and go through the checklist and give them all the information that you need to give them in order to fill out your form. And they won't necessarily require you to find everything, but a certain number of the items on the list. So, but it's kind of like going for a hunt. So I think it's a lot of fun to do. So I think everybody should at least try the lunar program to begin with. And also, they have a solar program. So you can do daytime viewing if you have a solar scope or if you have a solar filter for your telescope. So don't think it's just a nighttime thing. At this point, I want to introduce Bill Cast. He's going to have an additional presentation for you about DAS members who have completed observing programs at the end of my presentation. His work on featuring members who have undertaken these projects is really meaningful, and we want you to be inspired by what they have done. So that'll be a special treat. Okay, now here is something for those of you who are not interested in going out at night or going out at all. A way to do observing from the comfort of your desk indoors. Citizen science is made possible by the internet. You can help analyze data that's been uploaded to the internet and look for items that have never been identified before. You can get a citizen science program certificate for your work. So if bundling up and going out at night for hours isn't your thing, this program is for you. And lastly, the Astronomical League has downloadable certificates that you can use to commemorate special events. These don't require you to complete any program. These are for things like if you have your grandchild with you and the first time they look at Jupiter or Saturn through your telescope, you can make out a first observation certificate, frame it, and send it home with your mom and dad and have them hang on the wall. If you've been to one of the eclipses and you want to commemorate that, you can print out that certificate, fill it out, and hang it up. So I would imagine they're going to add more to these as more events happen. And so these are commemorative. They don't count toward any of the higher level observing awards or anything like that. But I think this is really a cool idea, especially for kids. You know, get them interested, you know, have their first observation certificate. Also, the Messier Marathon and the Herschel Hustle participation, if you're going to do something like that, that's on your own. You know, if you are willing to stay out all night and do the Messier Marathon, good for you, but you're going to do your own certificate. So, all right, next up is awards. The Astronomical League is committed to recognizing people for their accomplishment, and they hand out awards every year at the Astronomical League conference, which I'll cover shortly. But I want to give you an overview of these awards and let you know that people even here in Denver can win these, and they have. So outreach awards are for anyone who participates in public outreach. We do a lot of public outreach right here in this building and out here on the lawn. And we have a team of public outreach people who go to schools and libraries and parks and other places and do public outreach. Now, we used to have a coordinator who would go around and take the names of people who brought their telescopes, and he'd go upstairs and see who was volunteering, and he turned in all these names every month. And we have loads of old pins upstairs for people who participated, but people got tired of getting the pins. So he stopped doing it. So now if you want to get an outreach award, you have to do your own recording of your own volunteer work and send it in to get it, because we don't have anybody who's volunteering to do that anymore. But it's worthwhile. And they have 3 levels. You know, there's one for not very many outreach events, but all the way up to somebody who makes a major commitment to doing outreach. But outreach is also one of the key pillars of the Astronomical League, because educating the public about astronomy is the main mission of all of the astronomy organizations. That's why we're here. We're learning, you know, we were all learners in the beginning. We learned from somebody else. And as we learn more, we become teachers of other people, and more people come to us to learn. So now on to the big awards. So every year at the Astronomical League convention, they hand out amazing awards to amazing people. The National Young Astronomer Awards and the Horkheimer Awards go to people in the age category of 14 to 19 years old, generally speaking. And when I've been to 3 of the conventions and I've been to 2 of the award ceremonies, these people are amazing young people. And Ursula, you should become one of these people. Before you turn 20. It is amazing what these people have done. I mean, the design and construction of observing equipment, or any other aspect of astronomy, the things that they have done just blow my mind. Also for outreach, educational outreach and service, for the Horkheimer Awards. What I want to let you know is that the DAS Executive Board, just within the last couple of months, created an award, and it's named after David Levy. He likes to go by David, though, David Levy. And we have created an award in his name called the David Levy Youth Service Award. And we are going to open it for applications the 1st of October. And we hope to award it to the first young person here in the DAS in December. So I've got to get busy and get that form ready to go so people can actually apply. Yes, Bill?
Who is David Levy?
Yes. Okay, for those of you who may not know, yes. He is one of the 3 people who discovered comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 that in the early 90s was coming in on an elliptical orbit of Jupiter and broke into 21 some odd pieces and then pummeled into Jupiter on its way back out. And he's very, very famous comet cutter. And he is an honorary member of the Denver Astronomical Society. And he opens all of our general meetings and executive board meetings with a poem. He got his PhD in historical literature that has something to do with astronomy. In other words, references to astronomy in historical literature, like Shakespeare. So it's a very, very interesting person and very well renowned around the world. So
Sure. So,
yes, he certainly is. Yes. I'm honored to call him my friend. So we were very, very happy to be able to name this award after him. Anyway, so we are hoping that whoever, people from this club, young people from this club, will apply to win these awards. And when we award the Levy Award here, that will be a little bit of a feather in their cap to apply for the Horkheimer Awards. So anyway, other awards for the big people. The Webmaster Award. The websites are key to drawing in people when people go looking, for their local astronomy club or whatever. A good website makes all the difference in the world. And near the end of my term as president at the beginning of this year, I put our webmaster in for the Webmaster Award and he won. His name is Toby Sheets, and he didn't know I put him in for it until he got an email telling him that he won. So Doug and I went to the Astronomical League convention in Kansas City, and we got it and brought it back to him and gave it to him at the picnic. And that he was delighted, but he certainly deserves it. He does a great job on our website. So that's one of the awards. They also have one for newsletters, but we don't have a printed newsletter anymore, so I didn't mention it here. They have a sketching award for people who like to draw what they see in the eyepiece. So if you're good at that, consider submitting your sketches for the sketching award. And then they have an imaging award for ladies only, the Wilhelmina Fleming Award. And so that women can apply for that. I don't know if we have women in our ASIC group that would like to submit anything, but they should. They should just submit whatever they have, because you never know, who could win it. Now, they are also going to be creating an imaging award for anyone that Explore Scientific is going to sponsor, but they don't have that created yet. So keep your eyes open for news on that one. Let's see, where am I now? Okay. So another place to find information about the Astronomical League is on Facebook. And a lot of us who are not Ursul's age, older like us, are still on Facebook. So they have a lovely page on Facebook. And once again, I couldn't get very much of it on there, but that's what the page looks like at the top now. But there are a lot of conversations on Facebook about various topics. You can get on there and write posts and make comments and ask about things. They post upcoming events and a lot of good information on there. So if you're on Facebook, I urge you to get on and like the Astronomical League. So that was where, in fact, I found the handouts for tonight. Bill was sharing those from the Astronomical League Facebook page. And I went, those are really cool. Where can I get those? So that was where I got started with that. And then there's the Reflector, which is their quarterly publication. And you are getting it as a member, either via email in digital form or via print. If you can have that option on your member portal. If you want to get it in print, but you're getting it digitally, you can change that. And then the next quarter, it will change. So at any rate, they really prefer that you get it digitally because the cost of printing and mailing are going up. So if you can stand to look at it on your computer, that is the way they would prefer that you have it. And it is, I'm not sure if it's 16 or 20 pages long now. They did have to cut it down a little bit. It looks like it's probably 28 pages at least, because they have observing awards on page 26. So at any rate, this is a list of the contents most recently. They have stories about things happening in the Astronomical League. They have educational stories. They have letters to the editor, from the editor, all kinds of good information in there, a lot of ads about upcoming star parties and from companies that sell all kinds of astronomy equipment. A lot of good information in the Reflector. So when that comes, don't toss it, read it. It's got great information in it. Astronomical League conferences or conventions, whatever you want the con to stand for. These happen annually and they take place at host clubs around the country. I've been to 3 of them. My first one was in Albuquerque in 22. My second one was in Baton Rouge in 23. And then Doug and we just went to Kansas City this year. Next year in 2025, it's going to be in Bryce Canyon. The year after that, it will be in Cincinnati. And then the following year, it's going to be in Colorado Springs. So it'll be nice and close. There are a lot of cool things to do at the Astronomical League conferences. They always have speaker presentations during the daytime and workshops. And they have field trips to nearby destinations of interest in the evenings on Wednesday and Thursday, and the daytime on Sunday. They have special dinner, really special speakers for their dinners on Friday and Saturday nights, and their award banquet on Saturday night. But the destinations of interest, if they're near something that's really cool, like in Albuquerque, I got to go to the Very Large Array. That was fantastic. Just, it was featured in the movie Contact with Jodie Foster. And when you get there and you see how vast that place is and how big each one of those radio telescopes is, and you think about them being moved out across the plane there and put in different arrangements, it's just mind-blowing how big of a job they're doing down there. And then in Baton Rouge, we went to the LIGO, the Gravitational Wave Observatory, which is a personal favorite of mine. And that was just insane. I mean, the tunnels for those are so long, and going in the control room and seeing how all of that works, just unreal how high level the science is at these places. And to have these local clubs make the arrangements for you to go and visit places like that. These conferences are where it's at for things like that. I just love it. So I strongly recommend that you go. Now, the one next year at Bryce Canyon, that one is going to be all about observing outside. It's actually called an ASTROCON, but the skies are so dark at Bryce Canyon. And so the emphasis is going to be on observing outside. They will have programs during the day, but during the evening, people are going to be going outside and observing and doing astrophotography. This is a picture from an ASTROCON they had down there, I think in 2011. And you can see, they were using red light in the foreground, but the Milky Way was so clear there. They have an RV lot if you want to take your RV and live out of your RV while you're there. But Ruby's Inn is the convention center with a hotel and everything that is on site inside Bryce Canyon, where the event will be held, and reservations are open now. So you can register for that now. And I'm thinking it's close enough. A lot of people in the DAS can go there. I'm planning to go. I hope we get a lot of people from here to go. And it's in late June. So it doesn't conflict with a lot of things that happen later on in the year, although it does conflict with a Rocky Mountain Star Stare. But they usually have bad weather anyway. So anyway, sorry, Colorado Springs. Okay, next up, the Astronomical League shop. This is great because they have things in particular from the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada that are hard for us to get here. A couple of years ago, CERN tried to carry some of their stuff in his store, and the import tax and all of that stuff was so ridiculous that he had a really hard time getting it and paying for it. And we also had trouble during the pandemic actually getting stuff through customs. But they have quite a bit of stuff in the store from the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada and lots of other sources. An incredible amount of good resources there, including those manuals we talked about earlier. So I recommend that you check out their online store, look at what they have available. Here's a picture of the calendar and the handbook from the Royal Astronomical Society. And we're actually talking at the executive board about possibly buying some of these in bulk and making them available to members, but we're going to make a decision about that next week. So we'll let you know about that. But at any rate, definitely recommend that if you're looking for something special, you go check that out. Also, there's a monthly newsletter called What's Up with the Astronomical League. And it's pretty short, and that arrives in your email box every month. Has some news about the Astronomical League and a short educational piece. So when that comes, don't ignore it, give it a read. It'll only take a few minutes to get through it, but I recommend staying in touch with them that way. And this is a little excerpt from that. This came out after the last reflector. So, but the reflector came out before the conference. So these are pictures from the Astronomical League conference. So this was really neat. This is David Levy, and this is Tim Russ. He portrayed one of the characters in Star Trek, and it was really cool to get to meet him. And anyway, lots of great people. So that's one of the cool things about going to the conferences is all the people you meet from all over the country. So kind of neat to look at these pictures and remember what happened there. Next up, Once a month, there's an event online that's led by the Vice President of the Astronomical League, Terry Mann, and it's courtesy of the folks at Explore Scientific. Terry talks about what's going on with the Astronomical League. She holds conversations with somebody else about what's going on, and she can even take questions from people who are attending online. So you can either use the Explore Scientific link. Here, let me go one ahead. So Explore Scientific has a link here, explorescientific.com live or facebook.com to get into that. Unfortunately, they just had it last night while we were having our new member orientation, but the next one will be in October. But every month they feature a guest to speak, and but they can take questions. So it's another way to stay in touch with the Astronomical League. So there's lots of ways to get information from them. They provide an endless amount of information, and it's a great group of people to work with. One more thing I want to say is, when I first looked at the Astronomical League and they were going to have their elections, I was like, I don't know anything about those people. I wouldn't have any idea to vote for. I went to my first conference and I got to meet the president, the vice president, and the other people who were running for office. And that gave me a whole different perspective. I was able to come back and go, now I know who I want to vote for, and these people do make a difference. So I think it's important for us to have contact with the Astronomical League and be able to participate as a club, especially since we are the biggest club in the country. So I think I would love to see our members and members of other clubs become more active with the Astronomical League, because they have a lot to offer. And I think, we owe it to ourselves to participate and give back. So I was going to take questions at this point, but at this point, I think I will let Bill do his part of the presentation instead, and then we'll do questions at the end. There you go.
Welcome. It's time to announce the Summer and Fall Quarter Astronomical League Observing Awards. These awards have been earned by members of the Denver Astronomical Society. As a DAS member, you are automatically enrolled as a member of the Astronomical League. Membership includes a subscription to the Reflector, quarterly journal of the AL. Also, as an AL member, you are eligible to participate in any of over 80 challenging observing programs. Successful completion of each program is rewarded with a certificate, and many programs include a nice enameled lapel pin. The name and club affiliation of each award winner is published in the Reflector. The summer issue of the Reflector recognized DAS member Jim Rasmussen for completion of the silver level of the Comet Observing Program. Here's Jim with his 9.5-inch Celestron AVX and DSLR camera on a go-to mount. He used this setup to document several of his observations. Photography is optional, sketches may be used. Jim recorded the required observation of 12 different comets. A self-avowed comet chaser, I'm sure Jim is already working his way to the gold level, which requires observation of 18 additional comets. This is the certificate awarded to Jim for his work. And here's his lapel pin. Here's DAS member Ian Wymore, pictured here with his family. Ian was recognized in the fall 2023 Reflector for completion of the Lunar Observing Program at both the regular and binocular levels. Ian used a 10-inch Dobsonian and 12x60 binoculars to make his observations. He carefully recorded his observations on the lunar checklist log sheets, which are available from the AL as a free download. Ian was awarded the regular observing certificate for observing and logging 100 features on the lunar surface. He also received this certificate for making 64 observations using only binoculars or the unaided eye. This is the lapel pin that is awarded for completion of either level of the program. Congratulations to Jim and Ian. I encourage all of you to check out the AL programs. They are very educational and help you by setting goals and giving directions to your sessions under the stars. Thank you for your attention. So I produced these little videos to, mainly to, okay, you get a pin, you get an award, you get your name in the reflector, but some of them are really hard work. It took me a year and a half to complete the Messier program. And I just thought it would help out to give these people that complete the programs a little bit more recognition within the club. So these videos are played at the meeting, and they're also posted on the DAS YouTube channel. Anyway, I've got a little display out here. There's several of the reflector magazines with the awards highlighted by members that we've had. I've got the members who won awards, and I've got the 2 certificates, the 2 programs that I've completed. These are the original certificates that you get, and I've got the observing award pins on my Indiana Jones observing hat there. So you're welcome to take a look at those. And anyway, that's what I have to say about this. And oh yeah, that was the other another reason I had for producing these videos was to increase awareness among the club members of the observing programs. A lot of the members aren't even aware that these programs are available. They're extremely educational. When I started doing the Messier program, I was not really new to astronomy, but I was new to re-entry into astronomy, and my knowledge of the sky was not very complete. And just doing the Messier program, I learned a lot of constellations, a lot of bright stars. I learned how to use a sky atlas to star hop to items, and it just really increased my knowledge in general of observing the night sky, and it's a very worthwhile program. And I like to encourage other members to be incentivized by the pin, the publication in the journal, and being recognized within the club with these little videos. I'm trying to promote the observing programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. And thank you all for coming this evening. We appreciate the fact that you guys came back from last night. It's great.